Hi again, I wanted to share a really cool technique on guitar that can kind of help you break out of position playing and free you up on the guitar a lot more to be able to move around and play a bit quicker. You'll notice that a lot of kind of great guitarists don't always play in one position. So like, obviously a lot of guitarists will, use the classic blues kind of box kind of thing. That kind of, pentatonic, that kind of sound, where we kind of stick in these positions. But if you listen to a lot of cool music and watch a lot of great guitarists, often they're moving along the fretboard more. And moving up and down. So I call this playing horizontally, as opposed to playing more vertically, where you kind of just stuck in that one kind of spot all the time. Which is cool too. But the freedom to move around and play in different positions and all that sort of thing is one of the fun things about playing guitar. And my attitude towards it is that rather than being stuck in one spot and locked in all the time and playing up and down this way, that playing vertically shouldn't really be a challenge on the guitar as much as it is. And I know people have to kind of struggle to move around, but my attitude is that piano players don't have trouble kind of moving across the keyboard like that, right? So then why should we? Like, if they can move quickly like this, then surely we can move quickly like this. So us guitarists should be able to kind of do that too. So the technique that I found really useful to kind of helping people do that, and a lot of my students have found this really useful, is kind of loosening up the thumb, and not the left-hand thumb. If you're right-handed and you play guitar the standard way, is loosening up the thumb, because where people get stuck, and a lot of my students, is they have this kind of grip on the neck, right? And this grip with the thumb is really cool if you want to do like, your bends and all that sort of thing. And sometimes you do need a bit of a grip on, the back of the neck if you want to kind of do like a bar chord or something. But you don't actually need to use the thumb as much as what you think. And if you can kind of loosen the grip on the thumb, what that'll enable you to do is kind of glide along the fretboard more effortlessly. So you're not locked in, and it frees up the left hand to move around a bit quicker as well, because you're not creating so much excess tension in the left hand. Any excess tension is going to kind of slow you down and kind of cramp things up a bit. So you want to avoid that anyway. So the basic technique that I get people to do, and it's weird at first, and it kind of feels a bit awkward, but this is just a technique that you do just to kind of give you a bit of an insight or a bit of a feeling as to what it's like, how much pressure you actually need to use your thumb. And what the idea is we just play freely along the guitar. So you can just kind of noodle, play whatever it is you want to play, but we're just moving around the guitar. But what the idea is that you've got to do it without using the thumb. So usually if I'm kind of playing with my thumb here, so my thumb's kind of here, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just noodle around for a sec, but I'm not allowed to touch the back of the neck with my thumb. So you're not going to play as well, but you just get used to it. And this is something you do for like 30 seconds here and there, once in a while, just to go, oh, okay, yeah, I don't need it as much as I thought. So I'm going to try that. So this is no thumb. It feels weird, it's kind of hard to do. Try and move up and down the fretboard a bit more too. I'm just keeping it simple, just blues, pentatonic stuff for now, right? Classic guitar stuff. Now, what you can also do is try it with chords. Try it with like, a bar chord or an open chord. So it's kind of hard to do, and it feels weird. But the point is you do that for a little bit and you're like, oh, okay. But then you come back to doing it normally and you'll be like, okay, maybe I was pressing a bit too hard, or maybe I did have too much of a kind of, stranglehold on the neck there and you're kind of choking it. So just, try it out, play around with it a bit, and then when you come back to it, you'll find that, you can glide your thumb along. And then when you do need to use your thumb to apply a bit of pressure, like I said with a bar chord, it's really there just for support and to assist things. And then that way the thumb's also never locked into one spot either. Like if, you know, I'm playing a bend or something on one of these strings, you know, my thumb tends to come up here. If I'm coming down to do a bar chord, my thumb comes down there. It's never locked. It's just always freely floating and moving around and supporting the fingers in the left hand and the wrist. And that way, yeah, it just gives me that kind of freedom that I can just be relaxed and loose. Yeah, and it's a super useful thing to try, and it'll just open things up for you. And you can start burning up and down the fretboard and playing all that stuff we love. So yeah, let me know how you go.